Hi everyone. So this is the activity number 3 where we're going to put a timber door into our stud walls, and in the template you'll already have this door which I've downloaded from the 3D warehouse, and you can place that into the wall. Alright, I've already put onto the door some functional sizes, which the sizes are the height of the door jamb, okay, which is 2100 millimeters, and the width of the door. Okay, now that width, as you can see, doesn't include the architrave on the front of the door, which covers the joinery. So we ignore that because that would actually be wider than 802, as we can see here. The architrave covers the joinery and makes it look neat and tidy. Alright, so the 802 is the functional measurement that we need to know so that we can put the studs at the correct spacing. Now, I've already started a wall the same way as we've done in the previous video. I made a bottom plate and I've made a top plate, and I have spaced those at 2400 millimeters. Okay. And I've started to draw some studs as components, although I haven't pulled them up to their full height yet. So the next thing that I want to do, and this is really the beginning of the activity where it differs a little bit, is I want to find the center of the bottom plate. Okay, so I'm just going to use the tape measure to do that, and I'm going to put a guideline there. So let's do that. I'll zoom right in so I get this center. And then the midpoint will be half of the 5 meter length. So it's 2500 on the keyboard. And we now have the middle of the wall marked in position there. Now we're told that the door is to be placed 1200 millimeters to the left of center. Alright, so what we'll do now is, from our guideline here, we're going to measure along here 1200 mils. So once again, 1200 on the keyboard, and we've now got that position marked out. Now that's going to be hard to snap our door onto when we use the move tool. So I'm just going to go ahead and create another vertical guideline like that that snaps there like that, and it should be a little bit easier now to snap the door into position on there like that, having that guideline. Alright, so let's have a look at how to do that. I'm going to orbit around to the other side here because I think this will be easier. I'm going to be using in fact this point on the door right there, because that's what's going to align here. So let's first of all just translate the door. So I'll zoom right in there and get that point in the model, and then I want to zoom in over here and I want to snap it into that position there. You can see it's highlighted it as an intersection. Alright, so move it there, it will snap into position. So we've now translated the door over to the stud wall. And after that, I'm going to rotate. Now we need to make sure that we're rotating in the blue direction, the blue compass, not the red or not the green. Okay, so hover your mouse. If you're having trouble with it sticking in position, once it goes blue, you can hold the shift key and that will lock it into that position. I want to rotate it around that point there, and I can click anywhere where I want to start my rotation, but along an axis is the best. So probably the green axis here. Click and then rotate it around 90 degrees. So until it goes onto the red axis, like that. And we've now got the door almost in position. Now what's interesting, you can see here, particularly if we go underneath, that the door is sticking over the stud wall. Alright, so we need to just fix that. And our architrave goes right onto the bottom plate. There's no room to put any wall lining in there. So what we'll do let's just correct that. I'm just moving into position here. I need to move the wall out so that this corner is in line here. So let's get the move tool and just translate the model over like that. And you'll notice that now there's a little gap there and our wall lining can fit underneath there. So where do you go from here? Now that we've got the door correctly in position, all right, let's get rid of him, he's in the way. What we could do is start putting the studs along here. All right, so we'll get the move tool. We're going to do, remember, 450 centers. So we pick up the middle of the stud, press Control to make a copy, and type in 450. There's one. Now before you do anything else, remember to type Shift 8 for the little star, and we're going to do 10 copies like that. All right, now you'll notice that this stud is right in the middle of the door there, so we can't use that in its current position, and we've got this stud as well right in the middle of the door. So in our drawing, what we'll do is we move that stud to the outside here like that, and we'll do the same with this stud. We'll pick up that corner down here and we'll move it to the outside of the door like that. And that's in fact what they would do when they make the door, so that they've got something to screw and nail the door into. All right. Because I drew these studs as components, when I double click this one and I edit it, I'm going to pull it up. And the cool thing is that all of them will come up at the same time. So let's zoom in here, get that into the correct position, like that. Okay, now to finish the wall off, you need to put noggins along here at 1100 mils high, and we also need to put a head trimmer up the top here. So that would look something like this, just a rectangle. Start it here. It's going to be 90 by 35, which I'll type in. Press enter. And I'll make that into a little group. Double click it, and then I'm going to pull that across to the other side here. Alright, and then besides the noggins, all you would need to do is your wall lining then. Okay, so a wall lining is just 10 mil thick, and we're going to do a nice and simple one. I'm not going to bother trimming mine out because I think you guys can do that later, but do it like this. What I'll do, so life is easy for me, and I think you should do the same. At this point, highlight everything, make it a group, and that way when you draw your wall lining, you can have it as a separate group to the wall itself here, and that way if you make a mistake, it's easy to modify it. Alright, so rectangle from the bottom corner all the way to the top corner over here like that. Okay, and then with the push and pull tool, pull out that wall lining to a thickness of 10. So 10 on the keyboard, like that. Okay, and then that's the wall lining drawn. Now I want to group the wall lining. So I'm going to do that. I'll highlight everything. I'll hold Shift on my keyboard and deselect the stud wall, and that way I've only got the wall lining selected now. Make it a group. Okay, so for you guys to finish this off, you can see how the wall lining has covered some of the door. You'll need to edit the wall lining, and probably just something as simple as this. I'll do it really rough. You can do a cutout like this. Push that cutout back 10 mils, and you can see how it's cut through the wall lining there. And then what I'm going to do, I think this is a nice sort of easy cheat. I'm going to grab this surface. I'll go underneath the door, and then I can pull that wall lining across to, I don't know, around about there, I think. And I'll do the same on the other side. Just permit me to get my camera in position. And just up a little bit so we've got better visibility. So we'll grab this surface, we'll pull that back until it touches about there. And I have the same issue at the top. So let's grab this surface and cut that back out of sight there. Probably just out of sight. Alright, and then it looks now like we're done. So I've got the wall lining done, I've got the door in position, the architrave is still visible there, and on the other side we can see the construction. The only thing I don't have is the noggins there. Alright, so rewind and pause and do what you have to do to get the stud wall drawn. Don't forget to save your files, okay, so that later on when we make our model, you've got all of the components that you need to start creating your model. Alright, that concludes this video. Thanks for watching.